All right, Taylor, thanks again for carving out time in your schedule. As we were not able to meet up face to face, I'm glad that technology is working in our favor. So, we're going to go over some of the things we went over last week, and I'm going to check on your assignment that I gave you because I remember I gave you a specific assignment.
Yes.
But before we do that, let's do some backtracking and figure out where we are. All right. Last time you spoke, you talked about John's plan. John's plan. And I wanted to see how things were going, how you and John were moving through, getting over.
The video stuff
Yes.
that he wanted. Yeah. So, he, uh, we haven't gotten to talk about it because he's been in Cincinnati, since what I told you before.
Mm-hmm.
He he keeps hinting it, like, bringing it up, like, as if I'm on board, like he's gonna do something. And so when he did it last time, I just told him that, well, because I was frustrated, but this is just taking me down roads. Listen, I got this app.
Okay.
It's super cool.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Habitica. Check it out. It turns your real life habits into an RPG.
Oh, wow.
It's awesome. You lose health when you do bad habits, and you gain experience points when you have good habits.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun. And I got it and asked John to do it with me, so he's been doing it with me.
Okay.
It's super cool. But one of mine, which is at the top there that we saw, is like addressing conflict with people instead of talking to other people about it. Being more like forward about that,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm a conflict avoider.
Mm-hmm.
So when he did that last time, because we were like, I mean, we were getting along a lot and doing that app together and stuff. And then he said something about like, that's the first video we should make, or something, story we should tell.
Okay.
And I felt like all of the anger come back all of a sudden, like out of nowhere. And so I texted him back and said, when you bring up your story thing, it's like reopening a wound that has never really been addressed, that never actually gets addressed,
Mm.
because we haven't been able to talk actually about it. It's
Yeah.
just like hints at, and then it opens it back up, and I try and like get over it, and we move on, and then everything's great, and then it opens back up again. So I told him that, and he apologized and said he wasn't going to bring it up anymore, and that we could talk about it when he got back to Lexington, which is going to be in the next couple of weeks. I think he'll be back.
Okay.
So that was really cool and went really well. I was happy that I like was forward about it, and that we actually have like a time scheduled to talk about it, and then it's not going to be coming up until then, you know.
Yes.
So,
Yes. So, first thing I want to do is say that was awesome. The fact that you addressed it, knowing that that's one of your weak spots per Habitica. It's one of your weak spots addressing conflict. And so, the fact that you were able to go to him and say, hey, John, when you do blank, I feel blank. Can we blank? That was spot on. Really great job. I just want to affirm that and tell you that you're awesome for that. Second of all, now that you have a space to talk about it, how are you prepping for that?
um, I think I've already like sorted out my feelings in my head on like what actually has happened and why I thought the way I did, and like, so in that way I think I prepared, and like I know what I want to say and how to say it to
Mm-hmm.
explain it well to him.
Mm-hmm.
um and so I guess since then I've not really thought a whole lot about it, just because it's not here yet and I've already thought about it so much. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kind of like waiting.
Have you tried, um, what's the word I'm looking for? Have you gone over it like in person? Like not with him, obviously, because you have a set time for that. But have you like looked at a teddy bear or a chair or a picture and talked to him about it?
No,
Would you like to
mostly
try?
just it's happened in my head.
Would you like to try today?
um, we can, but
Okay.
if there's other things to talk about,
We'll,
we
we'll,
should do those first because I feel like I can just
we'll,
talk on that
we'll
first.
save it. We'll save it for our last maybe 10 minutes. How about that?
Right.
Okay. So moving on, then I gave you, and well, first of all, I want to figure out how's Joy.
She's walking.
Joy's a walking.
Yeah.
Praise God, Joy's walking. Good, good, good. Has she sang you any more songs?
She talked to me a little bit,
Okay.
not like full. Like she's still struggling to speak, but she's saying like tried saying my name and said good night and I love you.
Good.
She called me on FaceTime and her and John did, and then he was like, "You were Joy's choice for story time." So like I read her a story the other night and stuff.
Aw, that's sweet. That's good. That makes, oh, that feels so good. How does that make you feel to know where Joy was in her health when we started this process?
Awesome. I'm super excited. I mean, like it feels really miraculous. Like
Mm,
it almost feels like a dream.
mm,
Um, like watching her walk is like watching a newborn walk. Like it's that kind of like, wow, like it's like watching a baby walk for the first time, except even more miraculous because it was taken away from her,
mm.
and now, and we didn't know if it would come back, you know, at some certain points along the way we didn't know. And so yeah,
Yeah.
it's exciting.
So what I hear you saying is you are experiencing a level of joy and wonder at Joy's recovery, and that it feels like something supernatural. How does Joy's recovery reconcile to, I'm going to reach way back to our first conversation here. How does Joy's recovery and your place in that process reconcile to your aspiration to be Jonathan?
Oh,
You remember
I
that?
forgot that I said that.
You remember that?
Um, I I think that's been really great. I think like when they left, you know, I was worried about because I had gotten to be that at the beginning of things. And then when they left, I was nervous about things changing, and I think they did. I was away from things, and we didn't talk a lot the first couple weeks of them being away. Um, and I was a little bit frustrated just because of the movies, video, story stuff. But I think that was good for me having that time away to sort out my life and focus on the other friendships. Like it forced me to really, not that I wasn't doing that already, but even more so like trying to figure that out with the other guys in my church because like I said that was hard. And now like as it's getting closer to the end, I feel like like I think we had a little bit of time away to like come back and be like, oh, we actually like really miss each other, and And at first, it was easy to feel like I missed John, but that he didn't really miss me because he was with his family and like, enjoying his time with them and not having to work, and he liked that. But I think now, especially as it's been like a few weeks now that they've been gone, he's starting to like express that more, that like he misses me. And
Mm.
we hung out. He came to Lexington the other weekend,
Mm-hmm.
or the other, not the other week, just this week for a day. Like he was in Lexington, and so we hung out. And it was funny. The next morning, he was sending me a Marco Polo about like how he just like enjoyed getting to see me again, and I was texting him the same thing that he was saying. So I have a Marco Polo where he's like saying that and got a text from me while he's saying it in the Marco Polo.
Wow. So, if I understand you properly, you're saying that looking back on this whole process, it was actually good for you in terms of defining what friendship means and being a great friend and all of those aspirations, that it was good to have that distance and to have that time to get back to you and to get back to your habits and to find your normal again, so that when you finally did come back together, that you guys were actually stronger as a friendship, stronger as a brotherhood. Yeah, that's
Yeah, and
great.
it's been really cool because the Habitica thing has helped with that too. Because I was just like, "Hey, do this with me," and then it seemed right up his alley, and it was, and so now I feel like that's even added more to like just bring us back together and like doing something together again
Good.
a little bit.
Good. So now you have a new mutual interest, Habitica, and it's also serving almost like a an accountability or a balance to make sure that you guys can still be there for one another even while he's still in Cincinnati
Yeah.
and you being here. Great, 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 great. Habitica. I'm making a note of Habitica.
Well, you should get it because it's cool. And Ariel has it.
She does. Okay.
Yeah, because I shared it with her and it's spreading.
Great, great. Like a virus.
And y'all can be on a party together and
Okay.
fight quests, go on quests.
It seems like an interesting app. I'll definitely look into it. Next item, your assignment. Can you repeat to me what your assignment was 2 weeks ago?
To find a way to get my gardening to use it for my health.
Yes. And how have we done that?
Well, and I think I already mentioned to you ways that was already helping. So I think
Yes.
same ways is what, like, I just continued what I was already doing, which was like it's giving me physical exercise, giving me a creative outlet, getting me outside. Um, Me and my roommate are doing it together, sort of. He's letting me do all the gardening stuff because he knows I like it, and he doesn't really. But we've been outside together doing stuff.
Hmm.
Um, but I went. Oh my goodness! Did I show you my flower bed?
No.
I went and bought flowers last weekend and made a flower bed. So this is what our flower bed used to look like, because ain't nobody done anything to it. Like it
Wow.
was just a bunch of junk. And this is what it looks like now.
Way to go, Taylor.
And these flowers are so awesome. Look.
What kinds are they?
Um, those purple ones are my favorite. They're called woodland phlox. But I bought all native plants to help the bees. And there's the other ones. Those are also woodland phlox, the white ones. But the things in them, those things flower too, but they're just not blooming yet.
Woodland phlox.
So I was super excited, though I did spend more money than I should have, but plants are just expensive, so there's not really an option there.
Also, if you look at it like an investment in your personal well being, as they are, because they're an outlet, like you just said, for creativity, stress relief, physical activity, community bonding between you and your roommate, because you were talking about needing more males in your life, like as far as friendship and like tight knit brotherhood stuff. Again, drawing way back to our first conversation. It seems like you've done really well with that in the garden. So to see it more as an investment might be helpful as opposed to
Okay.
a burden, because in the end you are benefiting from the presence of the garden. So
And with my roommate too, another thing is that we've been praying every Tuesday and Thursday nights together.
good.
I don't know if I told you that last time.
No, you did not.
That's been really, um, really helpful. I think we've both been in similar places and just realizing like we need to pray and read scripture or else we're gonna fall apart. um,
That's good.
so we've been doing it together and that's been really awesome.
That's good. That's really good. So those were the other notes that I had for you. And so if I think we've got maybe 3 minutes, yikes. If you'd like to do a rough cut of a conversation with John, then fine. If not, then we can, just tie up loose ends and talk more about your self care. And
I think what I was gonna tell. See, it's hard to. I feel like I have to go through like the story with him to explain like along the way what my feelings were doing. But I don't know if I can do that in 3 minutes.
mm,
I think the big part of it is though that like saying like, I mean maybe the quick version, but how I would kind of say to him too is like that I thought, well, in the past he's walked away from a lot of things we've done together because to spend time with his family. And that's always been the reason, which is a great reason, but it feels like untouchable. Like, well, I can't argue that. Like, I want you to spend time with your family. Um, but then when he brought up this story thing that he wants to do, to me, someone who's done a lot of this work, it's like a huge thing. So I'm not talking to you like you're John, but this is what I want to tell him anyways. Um, it's a huge thing that to me is going to take up a lot of time and take him away from his family. So I'm just confused why that is okay, but I still want to spend like actual time with him. And he sees it as something we would do together, I think. But I told him like I want to figure out how to have time to actually talk and like invest in each other and get to know like what's going on in your life before I'm just doing a project with you all the time. And so I think explaining, but also when I asked him to pray about it and I asked him to, figure out how he's going to spend time with his family and how he could do that with me before doing this, he just went forward and started doing it on his own,
yeah.
which is the part that I think I need to explain to him, like, when you did that, like, my interpretation of that is that you don't, like, that you did not see our friendship as, like, you saw this as more important than our friendship.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to condense it to a feeling. When you did that, John, I felt.
Oh, yeah. Well, I felt sad and angry. And the reason is because that's how I perceived it.
Yeah. Received it as sad and angry. Okay.
I mean, I was sad and angry because I perceived it as him basically saying our friendship wasn't worth it.
So you felt undervalued?
Yeah.
Okay.
which I don't think he realizes. That's the big part that I feel like I need to explain how I perceive that whole, like, that particular part of the situation,
Yeah.
because that's the part I think he doesn't realize that's how it came across to me. I don't think he thought about it long enough to realize that.
Well, that's good. I'm glad that you're so self-aware in the process, and I'm glad that you've been so self-aware. I'm really happy that you've taken time out of your schedule to make ways for this and to help me improve in my craft. And as you know, I'm always available for you just to talk offline and to to work through this as you see fit. So I appreciate everything. And is there anything else you want to tell me before we sign off? Because my buzzer almost went off, but I caught it at like 2 seconds.
No,
No?
I think I'm good.
Okay. Well, I'm going to stop the recording.